I decided to do up some more tom thumbs tonight, so we're just gonna keep going on that. And I really like how the whole body looked, so now that we experimented with a few different styles, I'm gonna stick with that one. Hey Traveler Flies, how you doing, mate? We're gonna be cutting off of this primo deer hair scalpum olive. Absolutely gorgeous chunk of deer hair. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Wonderful length to it. It's working really good for these. It's a little bit on the puffy side. So it's more for sculpin heads, but it's still an absolute pleasure to work with. Going for about a gap height on the tail portion here. Gonna be toning it down a little bit from the last ones. This primo hair isn't thinning out nearly as much as I was expecting it to. Which is great, but miscalculation on my part. So I'll get all the fluff out. Where'd I get it from? Actually, I got it from my local fly shop, and it wasn't selling for whatever reason. I don't know, because it was a beautiful piece, and he sold it to me for like 17 bucks because it wasn't moving. Which, considering the length of the strip there and the quality of the fur, that's a wonderful price. Very happy. I can get probably hundreds of flies out of that strip. There we go. I'm going to be going a little thinner on the tail than its brothers and sisters here. See if I've chosen to go a little too thin, but I think we'll be good. So there's the other two, just for reference, or three. And the one Appalachia whitetail, I'm going to be doing up some more of those guys too. We're going to thin the tail up a hair. And we're just going to stack it and blend it together like you're packing a snowball. We want to have the tail the length of the shank on it. Just gonna stack that one more time. Actually, I got a few that are sticking out a little longer than I'd like. Having a pretty tail on these really isn't a must-have or anything by any means, but I'm gonna shoot for pretty. That's better. Yeah, it's got some really nice, very faint black tips on there. Really almost hard to see. They're almost transparent. I'm not sure if that's more from the dyeing process or not. It's very light, so we're gonna line those up, move them back, hold them in place there, and then that's where our cutoff's gonna be up at our tie-in point up here. That'll help build her body. Try and catch these in the trash bin, but that's probably not going to happen. Nope. Oh, got a couple. There we go. Yeah, I mean for the price, it was definitely not a bad deal at all for such a beautiful strip. I think maybe it was just because of the dye color that people weren't interested in. I actually made the mistake of not bringing my thread up to the tie-in point. Getting ahead of myself there. Okay, so we're gonna pinch it here so that it's basically a little bit on the flat side, see? And then we're gonna turn it sideways, bring our thread up, cut it in half with the thread, and then lightly, come on now, lightly go around it. And we're not putting any pressure on it yet. And we only got half of it there, and the shank, and then we're gonna get the whole thing with 2 wraps. There we go. I feel like it spun on me a bit there. Yeah, looks like it did. Shouldn't matter by the time I work back, but we do medium wraps back, and we're gonna slow our tension once we get to the right above the barb. Okay, and then just after the barb, I'm gonna do 2 back up one turn here. So I don't have quite enough thread. There we go. Just after the barb, we're going to do 2 light wraps so that we're not flaring the tail too much. And then back up. Do 3 turns just to get it set. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's a good enough flare without it going too cattywampus. And we'll continue up the kind of cross hatching on the way up. What I'm going to do on this one, it's a little bit different than we did on the first 2. So I really like the way that this random dark olive wool that I picked up was actually mixed up with 3 or 4 different strands in the wool, and I separated this out. But it's like Isn't that just like, that's a beauty match? Like, couldn't get any better. This just came from the thrift store, so. I'm doing that. We're gonna throw that in with the body. Just, I feel like if it matches that well and I'm not taking advantage of it, then I'm doing something wrong. So we're gonna use that up to fill the body in, because it works so well with this hair color. We're just cleaning up some of these striations. They're gonna get buried anyway, but we want to just get it a little bit cleaned. And then we'll wrap them a few there. Nothing crazy. Got a few longer ones kicking out there, so. You don't necessarily want to be using a GSP on this. I'm using a 6 or 8, 6/0, 6/0 uni. Let's bring my thread out a bit so I can get it up here for you. Which way am I turning it here? There we go. Boop. Yep, 6/0 uni and camel, and that matches up real well with this. Traditionally, these would be tied with just straight up black 6 or 8/0 thread. Feel free to do that. I'm just really enjoying this matchy deal going on with these colors here. You could even use white and then just use a brown Sharpie if you're using like an olive sculpin like this. That would be perfectly fine. Just gonna start it in there and bring it on back. I'm gonna tie it in. I'm gonna leave about 1 or 2 thread wraps before the end of that tail. Hopefully you can see that there. It's not quite at the end. I'm doing that on purpose just so we don't put in too much extra tension on the tail to flare it up any more than it is. I like the way that is sitting. And same thing, I'm just going to hand wrap this. So we're just going for a nice clean body. So I'm not going to use the rotary. This is just going to cover our previous thread wraps. Give us a little bit of segmentation there. And it'll give us a little bit more under fuzz on the body. There it be. I mean, if I was hand dyeing my material, I don't think I could get it to match any better than that. That's smack on beautiful right there. Yeah, matchy. Now we're going to go with a little bit more here. I'm just biting into this piece, so some of the hair is a little bit damaged up here just from where they cut the original strip. And I'm going to be working my way across. Already got some out of there. But we might have a few hairs going left and right on us just for this first bit of the strip. Which isn't a big deal for this fly whatsoever. It's a down and dirty, messy fly. Very traditional interior of BC dry fly. Wasn't one of the first flies I learned to tie, but it was definitely probably second or third. So we're not cutting those right in front of the camera. They're just trying to make a little less mess I can make here. But this Primo hair is just a joy to work with. It's nice and clean. There's almost no, compared to some of my other stuff, there's almost no underfuzz to it. See that there? That's like really nothing. Really don't even really need to clean it at that point, but we do want it to stack and sit nice, so get the smaller ones out. And the under fur. Not really sure how you get such a beautiful pelt of fur and not have it be the middle of winter, but clearly didn't have much under fur on there. I'll get that in the stacker, get it all nice and straight, and we'll get the top part going here. So other than your thread tension, which is, this is a great fly for beginners to get frustrated with while practicing their thread tension. The nice part is if you mess it up, these things will catch fish. The uglier they are, the better they work. But it's a great fly for newbies to practice their thread tension on, because deer hair isn't really very forgiving if you don't have really even thread tension, especially with deer hair like this I'm using. It's really soft. I'm assuming this was like a belly strip or just along the side of belly, which is normally what they use for dyeing, so that would make a lot of sense. Got a few little wisps coming off the end there, but those are pretty nice and straight. Happy with that. I want the top to be straighter than, more important, the top is straighter than the tail. Just because we want that really nice mohawk going on it. And we're just going to pack that gently. Okay, so we want to start this measurement. This is like saying this is the, besides the thread tension, this is your only real technical step. So I'll line that up so that you got the tail bang on with the tail. You're going to pinch it here so you got the top and the tail together so it's not going anywhere. You're going to look where your tie off point is. You're going to pinch just below, just after your tie off point, so you got it all again. Drop it. You're going to bring it halfway, so not a whole shank length, half a shank length. Okay, re-pinch it back where you had it. It's important that you get that clamp down so it's not moving all over the place, or you're not going to have an even head after. Okay, when you cut this off, you don't have to cut. You can cut these. There's different methods you can go about doing this, so you can tie it in the way it is and then trim it off after. I find to get a cleaner deal doing it ahead of time. Okay. The other important thing that you'll probably do occasionally as you're tying these is always pull back, so that way you're not kinking the tail. If you have it pinched there and you're pinching the top of the tail and you move forward at all, you'll kink your tail and it'll look all, well, kinked. Okay, so this is going to be substantially bigger than our tail. We're going basically a gap and a half for the amount when it's flattened. Okay, I'm just going to gently repack that. I get a little bit tighter than I had it. There we go. So I want it to be just a little bit bigger than the gap. See, it's hard for me to get the right angle for you there. There you go. So you can see it's down below the hook gap. That's normally a good amount. We're going to take our tie-in thread. We're going to go back up to about the between the point and your barb there. That's going to be your tie-in point for your tail. This is a size. Actually, I'm doing a bigger one just because this is meant to. What size are we doing? 8? I think this is an 8. 8 6s down to a 12. And you can tie them down to a 12, but most commonly are going to be your 8, your 6, your 10s. It's meant to represent a mature topwater. So I'm just going to half the. There, I kinked one by mistake. 1 second, just gonna get a drink. Excuse me. Yeah, we want to flatten it out like this. Hold it on an angle. Just like a little brush. And we're between that point and the barb. And bring our thread in about halfway. And then stand it up. And when we bring our thread around, we're just grabbing those first. Come on, get around the hook. There we go. Just grabbing those first ones, and we're not putting any tension on. And a second wrap in the same spot just above. And then a third. And that shouldn't be wrapping around. That should help stop it from spinning. Add just a very slight spin there, but we can adjust. Okay. And then we're going to do some wraps back with medium tension. Right to the point where we did our body, which is just after the barb here, see? But not so much that we're going to be pushing. Oh, did I push the tail down? Looks like I did. I'm going to have to back up 1 or 2 wraps there then. Didn't quite have the sweet spot there. Now that looks better. Okay, and when you come forward, you're going to go through all that mess there. Cut it in half, cut it several times. And as you do that, that'll help to bind it down. It's going to be a bit messy, but that's part of what this fly is about. And we're going to just come in and clean that up a bit. Now if you're doing smaller ones, like you're saying 12, 14s, or even 10s, you can tie this in up at your tie-in point, right across the back, and then fold it over. You should have enough to do that. On the larger sizes like this, unless you got some super long hair, or you're using bucktail or something where you got the length, you want to tie it in at this quarter point. preferably you want to hang on to all. It's all good though, it'll get sorted. Yeah, general tying strategy with any kind of deer hair is you want to let it go and rehandle it as little as possible. I'm just going to move this up again through the segmentations that we made earlier, right to our tying point here. That'll be where we'll tie this down. I want to get a couple good wraps so when we put some tension on, it's not going to twist. Just going to neaten that up a bit. Looks pretty good. One light wrap. Not twisting around on me. Do want to keep it up on the top of the hook here. Just going to spin my bobbin counterclockwise to get some of that twist out. There we go. So, one sliding ahead on me just a little more than I want it to. Okay, get the twist out a little more. Maybe over twisted a hair. Two to three wraps to set it. Grab your front. I'm not really liking how that's sitting. Let me try that again. That's better. 1, 2, 3. Get back up and straighten it. Just gonna get a little thread down behind here. I feel like it keeps twisting on me, but oh, we got her. Okay, no, that's okay. I'm going to put a rather large thread down up front here. That'll push its hair back. There we go. As Run said yesterday, forbidden pine cone. Harry. Actually, I missed Henry's thank you sub there. My bad. Didn't get my regular ding dong when I get a sub. Well, Stream Elements must be slacking. Let's get a whip finish on there and I'll clean her up. Always seems to be one hair that just wants to jump out there and get whip finished in at the end. This is where we come back and clean up anything that's sticking under the body. Any broken fibers we might have. Well, I think she turned out okay. I like having them a little bit on the poofy side on the top. It just catches some more air in there instead of having it super tight. Looks like it did roll on me a little bit before I tied her in. See if I can roll it back. Yeah, it's a little better. One or two broken strands. There we go. Some people like to put a dab of glue or head cement along the top there just to secure the fur hump in, but they get chewed up anyway, one way or the other. Yeah, I used some dubbing, like that's perfectly fine. If I didn't have this wool already set up, I would have just done up a darker dubbing. Traditionally, a lot of people use the, like I said, the black 6 or 8/0 regular tying thread for the bottom to give it a real dark look and a segmentation. I'll show you on the, it stands out a lot better on this guy. I'll pull him off of the cork here. But you can see the segmentation in the dark. That's your traditional pattern to have it look like that. Although I personally think it kind of looks a bit on the oogly side, that's the traditional pattern. And it works. Works real well. But I'm going to try and make these guys a little prettier with the wool body. It will hold a little more water than if I used an acrylic, but with this much deer hair on there, it's not going to make no difference. It'll float like a cork. And yep, 3 or 4 fish and it'll look like a fuzz ball. Anyway, so not much you can do about that part of it. And some people will put a hard cap like UV resin or what have you on it. But I've never found that to be terribly much more effective. Hey, I dropped my thread there, so just let me get that respun. I'm using a little bit of my stubby thick bobbin here, so I have a little bit more control. And I just get a little better feel through this bobbin being shorter and stubbier. Okay, we'll bring it back just past the barb there. It's important when you're working with deer hair that you get a decent thread base like that there, so your hair doesn't spin as bad. When you're doing your back wrap, just segment it out a little bit more so you're not completely filling it in, so it gives it a little bit better, a little more of a rough texture. It'll help your deer hair from spinning too bad on you. If you're doing it right on the bear hook, it'll just whoop, spit right around. Yeah, if you got any dubbing will work fine. Even if your wool's, say, too thick, like I got, let's see if I got what I got in my little pack here. These are some other colors I was going to play with. It's kind of a tandy. This one here is an awesome kind of worm color wool. But I was going to play around with some of these to see which one would kind of match in nice. But when I was digging in there, I found that dark olive wool, and it's like smack on perfect. Super happy with it. We're going to pull off for a tail again. Those ends are actually pretty even. Got this in the wrong hand, but we're going to go with it. Get all the fuzz out. It's a good amount of fuzz on that one. I'm almost tempted to keep that fuzz for like dubbing. That's a really nice fine olive fuzz. You could even use that actually to dub your body up if you had a lot of underfur on there. Like the Appalachian whitetail I have, oh, it's got a thick undercoat. Okay, we're just gonna get that in our stacker. Beauty. Nice. Nice little bushy tail there. I think I'm liking this thickness better for the tail. The other ones were... Traditionally I tie the tails a lot thicker than what you'd find in the fly shop just because they get so beat up so quick. I think partially the fly shop is doing that for cost, right? Okay, that's about where we want it. Move that back. make it rain. Maybe the most messy material you can use fly time, but it's satisfying. Okay, we're gonna bring that up. Just clean that out a little bit. And same thing, we're gonna tie that in half here. Cut it in half. Come on, thread, behave yourself. There we go. Light wrap, 2 light wrap, 3 light wrap. And that should help it stay up top. It's gonna behave itself. And we're gonna medium wrap our way back. Little segments. Once we get between the point and the I want to say hook gap, but my brain's not grabbing the right word here. The barb. So we get between just after the barb. We want to do 2 or 3 just light wraps, and then going back across our segmentations there with some more medium wraps. Pin everything down. Should give us a flared tail, but not overly flared. I'm happy with that. It'll work well. 3 wraps up by the head just to secure it in. And we're just gonna push these back a little bit, make it easier to trim off. And we don't have to go crazy with it because we're gonna be burying them in with the wool, but we want to try and get them to the length where they will bury in with the wool. And if you have a cauterizing tool, you can use that too. I don't know if I'd use a lighter on that. There's really no point with this style of fly to neaten it up to that much. Just gonna grab some tea. And we're gonna tie our wool back in. Didn't realize this was so thin. I didn't realize it was still a 3-strander. It's a perfect thickness for this body though, however. I want to stop it just 1 or 2 wraps before we finish the tail off. Which, bringing it down should be pretty much right at your barb point. So we to finish the tail off just before that. Yeah, that'll do. And I'm just going to bring that right back up to our tying point here. Not going to bother with the rotary. Just going to hand wrap it. very minor step just to give that body a little more cleaner look. And just wrap behind, a couple wraps in the front to secure it. This is a beautiful thin wool. Quite enjoy it. Might save my little cutoff ends to burn some dubbing up. So it's a really nice olive color. Okay, so we're going to cut off another strip off that deer. This time we're going to go about the width of our gap of our hook. So we're sitting more like, not quite a pencil amount, but maybe like a pipe cleaner. It's hard to describe the amount. You'll feel it in your fingers after you've tied a few of these, what the right amount is. And if you've gone a little too more, it's easier to feel it than it is to gauge it with anything else, really. And same thing, we're going to clean it out with our brush, get all that under fur out. Get rid of all the short ones because they're gonna come loose anyway. I think I missed that step last time. You can see once it's flattened out, we're looking at about the gap height. That's stacked rather nice and even. Okay, so for this one we're going to measure it right from the back of the tail, so it's lined up with the tail. We're going to pinch it there, so we got the hook, the tail, and the top bit all together. We're going to come back and pinch it right where our tie off is. And we're going to move it ahead half shank length. Repinch it there, and our cutoff point is going to be right where our tie off is. That'll give us enough room. That'll give us enough room for when we bend it over and everything, so it's sitting in the right length. The top kind of mohawk should be able to bend back and just touch the tail tie-off point. Okay, I'm going to bring this up and back, not forward, so we don't kink our tail. I'm just going to restack that tail. It's a little bit more, or not tail. Restack the hump material, I guess. We're going to bring our thread up between the point and the barb there. And we're going to tie it in from there back. So when we turn it sideways, see it's a lot thicker this way. We're going to grab it right in the middle and just push our thread in. What that's going to do is lightly tie that first batch in and grab the second batch on top. And by doing that, it'll stop it from rotating as much. And we're going to do 3 wraps back, each wrap slowly moving to the other side of the barb. And we want to stop just past the barb. So looks like I've got one more wrap to go. And these are going to be medium wraps. When we come back forward, we're going to wrap into this kind of porcupine mess with medium wraps down. And since we're doing it in the middle there, it's going to bind each of those separately. That'll help it from not being able to be pulled out nearly as bad. Okay, now we're just going to bring this all the way back to our tie-in point. Give it a good 3 wraps at the start there so it doesn't spin. I'm going to keep hold of that because it feels like I got a good purchase on it. I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. You can do this after because it's mostly going to get covered, but doing a little bit right now is going to help them from poking through the top. This is the more important part. Bottom you can clean up after. Looks like I got a good chunk of them there. This is not a pretty fly like a Royal Coachman or something. This is a workhorse. Okay, we're going to pull it forward, pin it down, and get 2 wraps, 2 to 3, 3 there. Lift up, see if we got enough tension on there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That looks okay. Oop, let go of it. Got one stray there. That's actually a little too far ahead for me. Let's redo that one more time. Okay, then we're just going to do some wraps in front to pin it in. Beauty. Oh, that's a lot better. And we'll start making the head. And we're going to make a fairly large cone head so it acts as a thread dam to keep the hair up. Got one fiber going forward there. Oh, I think I got her. Beauty. Okay. So you got this the right height. You want it to touch back, so it's just touching the end of your hump or where the tail's tying in. Yeah. Happy with that overall. It turned out pretty good. We can come in once we get these half hitches on and clean up that tail area. The other option, if you got long enough deer hair, like if you're using a bucktail or you're tying these on smaller hooks like a 12 or 10, then you can tie it in at the start here across the top and flip it back over so you're getting double. In some cases that'll look better anyway because it'll thicken the body up. Give you a slightly more flotation on it, but definitely not required. The original pattern is just to tie it in, fold it over like that. There's always one that wants to jump out and get grabbed there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like I did trap one strand there. Let's see if I can get it out. There it be. Hey, Type Flies, how's it going, mate? Pan the camera down a bit? Yeah, I might be able to do that. Must have slipped on me. I thought I had it centered pretty good when I started. I might have kicked it with my foot. I'm using my shorter, stubby, thicker bobbin because I get a little bit better feel through it. But it's just your regular Indian made brass steel with 2 porcelain beads in it. Which I normally save for my UTC and GSP threads, but using it on this one today. Oh yeah, let's clean all that fluff out of the bottom there. There would be basic traditional tom thumb with a little bit of hole under your body, just for color and kicks and giggles. Actually, I like these ones because I can sharpen them. I mean, they're getting down. I've sharpened off pretty much all the segmentations now. There's not really... Yeah, there's a little bit. I leave the one side with a bit more of a grippy sharpen than the other one. I try and get razor fine, but I like hand sharpening them. They're starting to get to the point where I've sharpened a lot of metal off them though. They're not the same shape as they were. They're still cutting really good. Just gonna spin this for a minute and get that head dry before I pop it in the cork. No, I haven't tried any ears, Brian. I've seen a lot of people using them, but I've been using this stuff for decades now, and this is just what I'm used to tying with. I'm gonna be honest, the bobbin I've been using, besides that one, I really just kind of filled that one up because it was handy and empty. But bobbins I've been using are from one of my fly tying mentor who passed away, so they're sentimental to me. And yeah, they're just cheap, you know, Indian stuff that you can buy for $2 or $3 a pop, but I mean, he's tied tens of thousands of flies with it, and I'm still using it, so it's working. Yeah, this is a different style tom thumb. Like, this is very traditional for interior BC here where I'm from. Like, I learned to tie these. It's probably like next to woolly bugger was like the second or third fly I've ever tied, and I've tied hundreds, if not thousands of them. Probably closer to thousands, to be honest. And they're not supposed to be pretty. And this pattern is just really a simple, get it done kind of pattern. There's definitely ways you can tie it to make it look prettier, but the fish just rip them up anyway, so there's really not a whole lot of point. And the more beat up they get, the better they work. I mean, you'll just have some thread and a little fluffy ball of deer hair left on there, and it'll be working better than when you first cast it out. Yeah, it's a little different. I know, like if you're going down closer to like into the states past Washington, they tie them differently from there south. And of course, traditionally we wouldn't be using this beauty. I got this beauty strip of Primo strip of this Sculpin olive. Actually, originally bought it to do some Sculpin muddler minnows with, but thought I'd use it up, do some tom thumbs with it, and it's been working out awesome. But yeah, traditionally we would be using whitetail for these. A lot of people use mule deer too, because we just, in this area specifically in the interior, we didn't really have whitetail here. Everyone would be mule deer hunting. So traditionally, when I was a kid, it would all be mule deer, because that's what everyone had. Which isn't as springy. I'm assuming since this stuff's died, and just by how it feels, this is a whitetail belly. Because they generally save that for the primo dyed batches, just because it takes the dye a lot better. And this stuff is a little. I mean, this is great. This would be great for spinning. That's really what I originally bought it for. Yeah, have a good night, Brian. Thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it, mate. Yeah, just gonna even that out for the tail. I'm having a feeling I probably grabbed a hair too much there, but we'll see what it's like after it's stacked. Yeah, it's a little on the bushy side, but we're gonna go with it. I don't want to thin it out. Actually, that's pretty bushy. Okay, let's half that. I can use the other half for the next one. Still got some fluff in there. There we go. Now we're going to do the length of the shank back for the tail. And I'm just going to lock that in there. And we're going to cut off the tail right at the tie-in point. And we're going to cut the, well, not cut, but separate that with the thread. So we're getting about half of it. Gentle wrap down. And 2 wraps over. It's spun on me just a hair more than I'd like it to, so I'm just going to straighten it up. Then we're going to wrap back, medium tension, segmented wraps back. I'm just going to stop right at just after the point there, and then these last couple wraps just past the barb are going to be light wraps. Stop it from flaring too much. And we're gonna medium wrap our way back up again. Beauty. Yeah, that one turned out fine. That's good. I like that. Yeah, I'm just cleaning that up a bit. We're gonna be wrapping that wool here in a second to cover all that. Yeah, this is just dark olive wool. Look at how that matches in there. That's like beauty. It's like just smack on. Couldn't have dyed that better myself. Definitely couldn't have dyed it better myself. It's a 3-strand, really thin wool. And I'm just going to tie it in there and all the way back down. We're going to stop right at our barb. So we got one more, 2 more thread wraps there. Beauty, that's perfect. We don't want to go any closer. We're going to put too much tension by where the tail is and it's going to flare it out. We don't want that, so we're just covering up the body here with the wool. Now I'll tie that off. We'll get some more. Where'd my thing go here? There it is. Get some more deer here. So I'm pretty sure this is whitetail, just by how nice and poofy it is. Okay. And we gotta clean out the under fur. And we'll stack it. Grab it a bit back here because any of the smaller stuff we want to be removing anyway. It's not going to be long enough to pull over. Okay, there we go. That's looking good. Yeah, that'll do. Beauty, that stacked pretty good. Okay, I'm just gonna pack it a little bit like you pack a snowball. I want to line that up right with the tail ends there. We're going to bind it with the tail on the hook, so it's not going to move. And we're going to rebind it at our tie-off point there. Let go of that side, bring it forward half a shank. Rebind it there again, the tail, and that's where our cutoff point is going to be. Okay, got them all nice there. We're going to bring our tie-in thread back through the wool. We're going to do 2 or 3 wraps right between the point and... do one more wrap ahead. Yeah, there we go. Right between the point and the barb there. We're going to turn it sideways. You can see it's thinner one way than the other. And turn it sideways. Get it right in the middle. Try not to kink up my tail there, kind of kicked it sideways. Okay, and then we're going to do 2 loose wraps around it there. And it spun on me just a hair, so I'm going to spin it back. I'm going to do 3 moderate wraps back until we're just on the other side of that barb, which is where we should be there. And we're going to wrap through all the spiky stuff as we go back up. That'll lock it in. We can bring that all the way back up to our tie-in point now. Okay, I'm just going to hold that and clear out a little bit of this fluff. Mostly on the top. It's easier to do it now. We just really want to clean it up to the point where we're not going to get strands sticking through our top cap or our butt and the head. Okay, we're going to bring that forward, keeping it fairly taut. And I'm just going to do like a pinch wrap, keep the tension on it. And then one more. And then I can lift up the head here and do some wraps behind it. Just acts as a thread down. Broke a couple. We'll just clean those out with tweezers. Beauty. There we are. Yeah, happy how that one turned out. That's okay. A happy little haircut there. I'm gonna make the head just a hair bit bigger here. Get that thread down back a little bit. There, that's good. Gonna do a couple half hitches. We'll get our whip finisher in there for the last bit. Then we can clean up that back part. There's a little bit of fuzz under there to get. There's always one that wants to jump out in front of me. This guy. Behave yourself. There we go. Stay. You can see him there, right there, that one. He's gonna try it. Watch him. Troublemaker. Oh, he's gonna do it. He's trying. Oh. Alright, well, showed him who's boss. Yeah, I'll just put some head cement on there. Yeah, I'll just spin that for a sec here. Just to get that head cement dry and nice. Yeah, he's cute. That's got, I like that, good proportions. It's tight enough on the top, but not too tight. Good body. He's got a little fuzz on his butt there. We'll clean that up. But yeah, overall, he's looking good. Like that. There it be. Alright, here's our tail. We already cut this one from the last one. I'm just going to restack it though so everything's nice and even. Yeah, we're going to get one shank length from the back. And we're going to cut it off right at the tie-in point. Missed one. There it be. I'm gonna lift that up, turn it sideways. We're gonna cut that in half, or separate it in half. One turn, 2, 3. And we're just gonna walk that back with medium wraps. Once we get to the point here, between the point and the barb, we're gonna do 2 to 3 very light wraps, just working our way back, one thread length at a time. So we're right at the back of the barb, and we're gonna do medium wraps back up again. That'll give us some spread to our tail, but not too much. If you're doing too heavy wraps there, it's gonna flare like crazy. That's not what we're going for. We're gonna push this back so we can cut it off a little easier. And I'm just gonna clean that up a bit. Nothing crazy. We just don't want it poking through our wool that we're going to tie in next. That's perfectly fine. Grab our bit of wool. We're going to tie that back. We're going to leave about 2 thread wraps. Just want to be right between the barb and the point from the back, so that way we're not going to interrupt our tail at all. Bring that right back up to our tying point here. Okay, I'm just going to hand wrap this. Again, giving room for the tail there. That's just going to cover our thread wraps, give it a little segmentation, give us a nice little fluffy body. And also kind of help stop the deer hair from spinning as much too. Gives it a little more something to purchase onto, especially at our tying point here. Let's capture that off again here, and we'll cut that free. Beauty. Okay. Sorry, just fussing a little bit here. Get that cut off. Just clean out some of that under further. Looks like we're good now. And let's stack that. I'm just gonna kind of crush it a little bit like a snowball. We're gonna match that up with the back of the tail. They're perfectly lined up. And then pin it in the back there, right to the back of the hook. We're going to come up where our tie-off point is, pinch it again, bring that whole thing up half the shank length, re-pinch it on the back. What that's going to do is give us our cutoff point right at the tie-in, and it should be roughly perfect for the wing length that way. And then we're going to gently bring this back without letting go, without mucking the tail up. Beauty. Okay, we're going to bring our thread back up. We're going to bring it just between point and the barb there. That's where we're going to tie in, and we're going to tie back to the barb. Okay, we got it there, so we're going to do 3 light to medium wraps there. Then we're going to do some more medium heavy wraps through that porcupine. That'll bind it all in so it's not going to pull out on us. We'll bring our thread back up top. Get to our tie-in point, 2 or 3 wraps up top, secure that there. And we're just going to clean off some of the porcupine. The most important part's up here on the top. It doesn't stick through our cap. But the rest of it you can easily come back and clean up afterwards, which we're going to do. Yeah, I'm going to bring this up. And forward. Hold it there. I'm going to do a pinch wrap. Bring it down. Again, another pinch wrap. Bring it down. Take got 2. Should be enough to hold it. I'm gonna grab. Did bugger my tail a little bit. Bring that up, back. We're gonna start doing our thread dam in front of it. Up to the point, back. I want to get a nice, decent sized head to hold that back. Beauty. I actually got a couple. Yeah, I did. Got a couple broken strands there, but that's okay. That'll happen. But overall, that turned out well. I like that one. Do a couple more half hitches here. Well, 3 is probably one more than we needed, but that's fine. The half hitch police comes after us. We'll be okay. And we're just going to do a tie up here. Okay, we're going to cut that off. I'm not going to put the varnish on quite yet. I'm just going to clean up a few spots on here first. Just these two that broke here. There we go. I'll get rid of some of that fuzz that we missed. Beauty. Yeah, that one turned out really nice. I like that. I want to have it coming back just to the butt there for head height. That's pretty much smack on. Quite like that one. Nice hump on it. That one turned out real well. Hey, morning, Doug. Thanks for dropping in, mate. Just doing up some classic Tom Thumbs with a little bit of a twist, being that they're an olive, dark olive, I guess. Thanks, mate. I'm happy with this one. I'm just gonna be spinning it here for a minute while that head cement sets. That'll do it. Should be setting up now. We'll pop her in our cork here with its friends. Go hang out. Yeah, I'm happy with that thickness. The first two were a little on the bushy side. They're gonna be fine, but I think overall I'm happy with that. I think that's a good size. A little thinner on the tail. Sorry, just fighting with this one a sec. Trying to get some nice even cuts for my first row here. Makes it easier going forward. I'll have to clean it up later. Okay, let's just get some of the underfur and waist out. There we go. I got most of it. Pop her in her hair stacker. There we go. Stack that together. Beauty, that looks fine. Okay, we're gonna get that shank length. Move that up. Trap it in. Then cut it off right at our tying point. I'm going to be turning it sideways, separating it with our thread. Don't behave yourself. we got roughly half. Soft wrap underneath. Soft wrap on top. And we're going to do 2 of those. That should help hold it on top there. And we're going to do medium wraps back. Kind of segmented right to the, between the point and barb, right in the middle there. And from this point back, it's important that our wraps are nice and soft. So we're going to do 3 wraps right over the point. They're going to be nice and soft. Just working back. We're going to go back up, crisscrossing our body. That'll give us a nice segmentation there and bind everything down. And our tail should be poofy, but not too crazy. That's a good amount. I like that. That actually turned out well. If you want it poofier, just more tension. Less poofy, less tension. We're just gonna rough this up by pushing it back. Their fingers, and we'll clean that up in a second here. I'm just gonna get myself some tea. Yeah, see you again, Doug. Thanks for stopping in, eh? There we are. That's cleaned up enough. We're going to tie in our dark olive wool. Look how well that matches. Super happy with that. Matchy, matchy. Okay, I want to tie that in. I want to stop just before the barb, so we're between the barb and the point. That we're not putting any tension on our tail. Couple wraps all the way back to our tying point. At the top there, just secure it in. And we're going to wrap this by hand. All the way up to our tying point. That looks good. Happy with that. Let's get some more of this deer here. And you want it to be roughly about the gap. If you got it pinched down, it's always a good measurement. But you'll feel it between your fingers whether you got it right or not. You'll know after doing a bunch. You can adjust them that way. Okay, and for this one, since we're folding it over, we don't want any of the short guys, so we're going to grab it about here. Anything that way is going to be too short to fold over anyway. So we want all that to go, including the fuzz. Get all the underfur out of there. All the short guys. There, I think we got her good. They're all stacked. Okay, and for this one, we're going to bring this right to the edge of the tail there. So they're lined up, and we're going to grab that one, the tail, and the shank of the hook in the one hand, and bring our other hand over, grab it right at our tie-in point. Okay, drop that, bring that up half shank. Okay. And then re-grab it back here so we got the tail and the clump. That's going to give us enough, the right amount to tie it in. Okay, I'm just going to bring this back gently. Repack it, and I'm just going to cut that end again because it was a little bit fuzzy. Not bad at all really, but alright, now we're going to bring our tie-in point all the way back, segment it. We're going to stop right between the point and the barb again. Beauty. We're going to do 3 wraps going back towards the tie-in, but we're not going to actually get to the tie-in point of the tail, otherwise we'll pull it down. We're going to have this sitting out. See how it's wider one way than the other. Bring our thread in halfway. Actually, I'm gonna have to spin my bobbin here to get some of that twist out. Okay, we got her. Looks like it's laying nice on top there. Do 3 wraps just after that. And we're gonna wrap into a little porcupine here to bend that all down. And all the way back up to our tying point. Okay, just gonna hold that up. Switch to my scissors. The most important part is this top bit here to clean this up. And do all the rest after. We'll come in and clean that bottom bit up after. Okay, so top's going over. Bring this over. We're gonna do like a pinch wrap. Do 2 of those. Now hold it in there nice and tight. It looks like we cut 1 fiber, that's not a big deal. And 2 more looser ones. Then we'll get all this mohawk hair tied back. Just gonna pin it back there and we'll start working on our head. Do a thread down right behind it there. Yeah, that worked out well. Happy with that one. Hair's just back to the butt. That's where we want it. There's always one that wants to jump out at you. Here we go. Stay. Okay, gonna get the whip finishes in. There we go. There it be. I'm just gonna clean this up. There's a few broken fibers there. There we are. One or two little stragglers there. Let's get some head cement on that one. There we are, happy with him. His mohawk might be just a hair long, but it bends right back to the crotch there, so happy with that. We're just gonna spin him for a bit here and dry that up. Hey, Glacier Shark, sorry mate, didn't see you drop in there. Yeah, new bug. It's actually a Tom Thumb, but it does look like a, it does look a fair bit like an elk hair caddis, don't it? These are very, this is a very traditional interior BC fly, for sure. It's ugly, it's super simple, it works well. I guess it has its own unique charm. Yeah, it's kind of mohawk. Once we get this to set here, I'll pop it off and show you the traditional one. This one's a dark olive. That should be good enough. Gonna do up another one here in a sec. We'll pop that off. This is your traditional one tied with black thread. And it works really well with the black thread. This one's tied with whitetail. In my area here, traditionally, this would have been tied with mule deer instead of whitetail because we didn't have a lot of whitetail. Ever since the 90s, they've brought whitetail in, and they're everywhere now because they like to be in farmers' fields so they don't get picked out during hunting season. They've pretty much taken over, actually pushed out a lot of the mule deer. But traditionally this would be tied mule deer hair, not whitetail, but this is basically exactly the same pattern. You'd have your crosshatch bottom there, dark butt, heavy back end, and the trout will just shred this thing, so it'll just be a bunch of thread and like deer hair just hanging there. That's the traditional tie. Again, for my area, if I had, I didn't pull out the mule deer, but if I had mule deer, that'd be even more, you know, just a little bit on the darker side. Not quite as poofy. Looking a little bit more like elk hair. They're both whitetail. That one there was Appalachia whitetail from Appalachian Mountains, which was a winter harvest, and it's got super thick underfur on it. This one I've been trying out this Primo olive, sculpin olive Primo deer patch, and it's like this thing just goes on and on and on. It's absolutely gorgeous chunk of belly fur. It's a little bit soft to do these guys. This is definitely like a spinning deer hair, but I'm making it work because it's just a gorgeous color. But yeah, you can tie these guys in red, black, yellow, bright orange, salmon egg red. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure if they were introduced on purpose or if they actually just came up from the States and just slowly moved their way up here, but yeah, when I was a kid, we didn't have any whitetail, none, zip, zero, nada. It was in the regulations, you could hunt them if you found them, but they just weren't here. And then yeah, during the 90s, they slowly started filling in. And the whitetail love to hang out in the farmers' fields and eat all the crops. And they don't actually go into areas where the hunters can hunt them. So they started severely overpopulating a lot of areas in BC. To the point where they opened up the regulations on them quite a bit. Because they were pushing out a lot of the mule deer and causing problems with them. Well, I mean, if they weren't introduced by people and they just came up from the States, you know, it's natural. But either way. Yeah, now they're all over the place in the farmers' fields in the fall. Okay, so we're going to try and make the tail a little thinner. It's probably half that, a little bit more. Let's go with that much. A little bit hard for me to cut this off just because it's working a new line on the patch here and I want to try and get it somewhat pretty. Once you get your stuff cut off, it makes it a lot easier. But working my way along, I'm starting to get a good row there. That's a nice big patch, though. I could get hundreds of flies out of that. Beautiful. And this stuff, there's like almost no underfur in this. See that? There's like a little bit. It's a beautiful olive color, and it's really fine. It's almost like mole hair. But we're just gonna get the little bits out. And we'll stack it. I don't know, like I've been up in your area there a couple times, backpacking and such, and I don't know if whitetail getting up there would really be a problem or not, because you don't really have the open fields and that in the valleys like we do. You get a lot more mountainous terrain, so it might not be a bad thing if they are heading up there. I don't think they'd compete with the blacktail on that as much. Come on. On the stack as well. Yeah, good enough. Yeah, again, traditionally this is a quick and dirty fly pattern, so you wouldn't even be stacking this. You'd just be tying it in. Cutting it right off the hide and just tying it in as it is. But I'm trying to make them look a little prettier, so the fish can mess them up. We're going to tie that in shank length. Gonna bring it right up to where we want it and then hold it. We're gonna cut the excess off right at our tie-in point there. Yeah, we're gonna bring it up. Turn it sideways, and we're going to cut that in half, or separate it anyway. Bring it down to your side of the hook. Gentle half wrap. 2 more gentle wraps on top. I'll stop it from spinning. That's bad anyway. It did spin a little on me there. That's fine, because we're going to wrap it all the way back. Just medium wraps, segmented on the way back. We're going to stop right between the point and the barb, and the next 3 wraps are going to be nice and soft. It's very gentle. That'll stop the tail from flaring too much. We want it to flare, we just don't want it to be punk rocker. We'll bring that all the way back up to our tie-in point. That's a good flare. We want it like about a 20-degree flare like that. That's perfect. Quite happy with that one. If you want it more flare, just torque it down here. Now push these back. Just make it a little easier to clean them up. They don't have to be perfect because we're going to be tying it in with the wool after. And the wool's going to bury most of it. That'll do just fine like that. We'll get her. Where to put her down there? There we are. Get our wool piece. And check this out. Shark. Look how well that matches. Just happen to have some dark olive wool kicking around. Like bang on perfect match. Super happy about that. Just gonna get rid of the fuzzy end here. It's a 3-strand wool, but you can double body, you can leave it as is. Traditionally, they wouldn't put anything on here. They'd just be tying in the deer hair. I'm doing this to just tidy it up a little bit. You want to tie this in right between the point and the barb. No, you don't want to go back farther than that, because then you'll disrupt your tail. And I'm just gonna be hand wrapping this up. Not gonna bother with the rotary. It's nice even wraps, touch and turns. Skipped on me a little there. That just gives us a nice covered, segmented body. It'll help the hair from spinning as well. Keep those little bits here, turn them into dubbing. It's a really nice brown color. There we be. Let's do a couple wraps just to bind that in there. Okay, now we need the top bit. The top bit we're going to need more than what we got in there for the tail. This feels like about the right amount. Generally, what you want is an amount that's going to be covering your shank or a little bit more, or your gap length. That's a good rule of thumb. Literally, because you're holding it with your thumb. Come in, just cut it in clean at the base. It's really cool having a nice big piece like that, but it is a little bit on the unruly side when you're trying to handle it. Small palm size ones are definitely easier. It's a beautiful piece though, can't complain. And we're just gonna get that under fur out of there. The small wispy ones. Okay. That looks good. And we're gonna get that in our stacker. There we be. Okay. Here a beat. Okay, so for this one, we want to line it up right with our tail there. So it's the same length. Gonna bind that in the tail and the hook end. We're gonna bind it just at our tying point. Let go. Bring it back half a shank length. Bind it again. And our cutoff point's gonna be right where our tie-in is. We're going to bring our thread kind of segmented through. We're going to stop again just between the point and the barb. Beauty, right there. We're going to take this. I'm actually going to reposition that slipped a little bit. It's a little too thick. There we are. Okay. And a little bit wider this way than this way. We're just going to grab that. We want to get about half the fibers separated. Put the thread in there. Super soft loop for the first one. Okay. And then 2 to 3 medium wraps to set it in place. If we got her in the right spot, we wouldn't interrupt her tail, so her tail still looks good. Now I want to do some medium to strong wraps through that porcupine, and then right back up to the tying point again. There. We can clean up this. The most important part is going to be the top here. We don't want it poking through our cap. The rest of it you can really get after. It's not going to make any difference. But we'll try and tidy it up. Okay. Bring it forward. I want to have it right at the time point. My thread came ahead a little farther than I want it to be. There we go. I'm going to do a pinch loop. Bind it down. Pinch loop. Bind it down. Felt like it moved a bit on me there, but we'll see when I let go of it here. Well, that looks good. Gonna pull that back up. Get some thread wraps, make a little thread down behind it there. Kind of lock it in place. Did break 1 or 2 fibers, but that's par for the course. Okay, we'll clean it up in a sec here too. Let's get those half hitches on this. Let's get a little mohawk. Tilting a bit on me, so I'm gonna fix that sec. There we go. Hey Yoshi, didn't see you pop in there. Good to see you, mate. I think I saw you in earlier with show flies live when he was getting all the wires done up for his streamers. Could be wrong. That's what my brain's telling me anyway. We're gonna get our whip finish here. We're gonna try and get, I got just a very small, yeah, it's gonna be annoying, isn't it? There we go. Got a small ridge there. I'm just gonna try and fill with the, there we are, the whip finish. You like to have that kind of nice stepped cone head on it. Yeah, let's get that fuzz out of the bottom here. Oh, it's not that bad on this one, actually. Yeah, that's actually pretty good there. Two that up top here, I'm gonna clip out that are just a little too frayed for my liking, but other than that, looks good. I'm happy with that one. There we go. Olive Tom Thumb. A little more consistent, a little better after getting a few of them under the belt. There's just a hair. That looks good. We're gonna spin it for a minute here until that cures. Yeah, I've been enjoying Shows Fly's lives and that. For whatever reason, he wasn't really showing up on my feed a whole lot, and just lately he's been showing up on there, which is cool. Cause I've been enjoying his stuff. I always like seeing him in the chats and all that. Oh man, don't mind me. I'm just trying to get all the deer hair off me. Knock my headset clean off. All the rest of my teeth. There we go. Sticky stuff. Come on now. Good enough. Hopefully your day's going good, Yoshi. I had a good time. Went out thrift shopping with the wife. Got some new. Put a little post up in the community channel. Got some nice local wool to do up for bodies and whatnot, and I found a pair of really nice mitts. So I don't really like mitts terribly much, but they got a prefer gloves, obviously. Have your fingers free. Mitts are a lot warmer, but in either case, there's all its friends. Get nice consistent with those last 4 or 5 there. I think I got my amounts down where I want them to be. How many we got there? Should I do another one? Let's see, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that 9? I'm counting right. 3, 5. Huh. 3, 5, 4, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, I guess I got 9 there. I must have miscounted my hooks. I'll grab one more here so we can get an even 10. These are size. What are we doing? 10? Yeah, size 10. These are neat. I think these are 8s. Dry fly hook. Pretty sure these are an 8. They got a nice big kind of traditional gap on them, which I like. The wire's really nice and light, although it's still very. It's a good quality hook, to be honest. I really like them. But like for a light wire hook, it's substantial. The tempering's really nice on them. They're really consistent. And they got like a really fine little micro barb, so it's easy to pinch off after. I generally always tie with a barb on, just so I have that option one way or the other, but 99% of the time I'm going to be fishing barbless. Yeah, no worry, Yoshi. It's getting late, and almost everyone's got to be working tomorrow. I'm gonna finish this last one here, and then that'll probably be it for me. Let's get some deer hair here going for the tail. Now we got an even 10 done today, which is pretty good. Not quite a dozen, but I guess with that one white tail, it's a baker's dozen. A baker's dozen would be 13, right? So a poorly counted baker's dozen. Excuse me. Okay, let's get that cut off. Sorry I'm not getting this all on camera here, but there's the beautiful patch of hair. Gorgeous. Very much enjoying that. We'll get all the underfur out. Their super secret mustache comb. All the little fur bits are getting to me. And just getting the underfur out, which isn't super important on the tail end because most of this we're going to be chopping off anyway. But it helps stack it. Again, traditionally you wouldn't even bother stacking these, you just tie them in as you're cutting them off. It's a quick and dirty pattern. Great pattern for someone that's learning because deer hair is easy to come by in most areas. Really, this one here just sprawling. Look at that. Get back in there. Get in there. There we go. Yeah, deer hair is easy to come by. Most people hunt or know a hunter, or you can buy it at most. Look at that. It's like spring loaded. Just stay in the stacker. Stay. What is with you? Do you just not want to? You don't want to be part of the fly? What's your problem? Get in there. That one's got some issues. Okay, nice and stacked. Got beautiful little black tails on them. Honestly, I haven't been in a lot of the chats. Normally I hang out in there while I'm before or after work or what have you, but no, I haven't heard anything about Glenn. Is he okay? Hopefully he's okay. He's normally in with Turner, but I haven't been in there as much as I'd like to be lately. Normally I'm in there quickly and just saying hi and bouncing. Okay, so we're gonna get that measured out to the shank length. Transfer that over. Hold it, and our tie-in point is gonna be our cutoff. Just like magic, it'll go everywhere but into your trash bin. Okay, we're gonna hold that halfway like this. You can see it's thinner this way than this way. We're gonna take our thread, we're gonna cut, not cut, but separate. Come on. Separate it into about half. We're going to do a very light wrap, so we're just barely touching it. Not putting any pressure on it at all. Second wrap around everything, and then a third wrap in the same spot around everything. Okay. That'll stop it from spinning as much. And then we can do one more to tighten it, and we'll do medium wraps segmented all the way back to our tail point. Medium wraps are going to stop just after the point of the hook, in between the point and the barb there. And then we're going to do 3 wraps after that. And it's very important that these ones be nice and soft, so just barely anything touching it. All 3 of them. And then back, and now you can start doing your medium wraps back up. It's a great fly to learn your thread control, because if you do that too much, this is going to go all punk rocker out on you and just poof right out. You want to control your poof with the right amount of tension. You want to have it roughly like a 20-degree angle, 20 to 30-degree angle each way. Sorry, I hit my mic there. Okay, Yoshi, well, if it's that kind of thing, we won't bother bringing that up in the stream here. I'm sure I'll hear about it when I get in the other streams, if people want to talk about it. That's very likely I haven't seen him then. Now we're just going to clean this up all the way around the edge here. And we don't have to be super tight with it. We just need to get it down low enough so that our next part, which is going to be tying in the wool, is going to cover it up. So we just don't want it poking through the wool, because we're going to bind that down. Excuse me, need more tea. I'm running out here. That's better. Get some water too. Sorry, I've been talking for a couple hours now. My throat's starting to go out on me. Alright, so we're gonna tie in the wool. Got this amazing, look at that color. It's just like, couldn't have been any better, eh? Just matches right in with that. We're gonna use this wool, the 3-strand, very fine wool. But you can use some dubbin, whatever you want. Traditionally, this step would be completely skipped. I'm just throwing this in here because it looks nice, and I have this perfectly matching wool we can use to make the body just that little bit better, so why not? But yeah, traditionally you would have just your thread wraps, and it would be black thread. 8/0 or 6/0 would be your traditional. If you want to stop, hopefully you can see that there. I'm about 2 or 3 thread wraps from the tail point, right between the point and the barb there. If you get any closer to the tail, it's going to flare out a little. It's going to put pressure on the tail, cause it to flare out more than what you'd want it to be. I'm just going to be hand wrapping this, not going to bother using the rotary. We're just going to wrap that back up to our tying point. This will give us a little segmentation, fill in the body a little bit, cover the thread wraps. Well, this thread matches in quite wonderfully, but traditionally you'd have the black thread with a crisscross or cross-hatched body pattern, which shows more segmentation. I'm going for a nice kind of drab olive color throughout on these ones. I've popped this up here a couple times, but since we're talking about it, this is what your underside of your traditional one would look like, with the white tail deer hair and the black thread crosshatch. That's your go-to Tom Thumb right there. These ones are just olive browns. That looks really good. I'm actually quite happy with that one. Tail might be just a hair longer than my last two, but that's all good. Alright, so now that that's tied in, we'll get the hair for the top cap. Yeah, I'm gonna need a little bit more than that. Let's grab a few more strands here. There we go, that feels better. After you do this a while, you'll feel it. The thickness in your fingers is really your best gauge, but generally speaking, you want to have it the gap length on your hook for most of this stuff. So if you don't know where to start at, if you flatten it out somewhat and it's the gap length of your hook, you'll be good. You won't be too heavy, you won't be too light. The rest of it depends on your deer hair that you're using, whether it's extra poofy, it's got a lot of under fur. If that's the case, like for the white tail, like the one I had up there a moment ago, who'd we get subscribing there? Happy Ventures, cool, thanks man, I appreciate this subscription. That means a lot to me, thanks kindly. Yeah, we're just gonna get all this under fur out. But yeah, if the hair you're using has a lot of under fur, you'll want to grab more because you're gonna be cleaning out a lot of that, so it's gonna thin out a lot quicker. This one has very little, very little under fur on it, so I gotta be a little more careful picking it because it's gonna basically stay the same. And on these patterns specifically, you're okay to go a little bit over than a little under, because the fish will tear these up, absolutely destroy them. They will look like some thread and a little poofy ball after about 3 fish. But that's fine, they work better that way, for whatever reason. Fish love them when they get all torn up. And that's why it doesn't matter if you have these tapped and sorted and everything correctly. You really don't even need to stack your deer hair, especially if you're cutting it off and it's fairly straight. Because after one fish, these are gonna just look like they were murdered. Just gonna pack them like a snowball a little bit there. And what we want to do is line this up with the tail, so it's the same length as the tail. And we're gonna take our other hand, we're gonna capture the one we brought in, the tail and the back of the hook, so they're all stuck together. Then we're gonna take our other hand that we just let go, come back to the tie-in point, bind it there. So now we got everything. Now I can let go and bring my hand back. You want to go forward or you're going to push your tail up. You want to bring that tie-in point up halfway up the shank and then rebind it over the tail again. I'll stop it from moving around. You want to cut that off right at the tie-in point. makes a wonderful mess. There's a number of different ways to tie these where you can leave all your butt ends in and do it a little more efficiently without cutting them out like that, but that's the way I like doing it. It's a little cleaner. I'm going to restack this so it's not so spread. And we're going to be tying it in just to the point between bringing our thread up, just between the point and the barb. So one more wrap. Yeah, it'll do. And we want to take this and cut it in half or separate it with our thread. And just super light wrap around, so it's just touching it. And then 2 light wraps around the base. Now you can tighten it down. And it shouldn't spin that bad. Looks like it's staying where I want it, so that's good. Okay, now we're going to do 3 medium wraps just back from there. So 1, 2, and then go into that porcupine and start nailing that down a bit, and all the way back up to your tying point. Okay, now we're going to try and clean that up just a bit. Most important part is going to be the top here because we don't want it poking through. It doesn't have to be completely flat. And you can clean the rest of it up on the next step here. Looks like my tail went a little bit cattywampus. I might have gotten just a hair close to it. See if I can straighten it. So you might have lost 1 or 2 fibers on the bottom there. That's okay. Okay, we're going to bring this forward. Applying tension to it, and we're going to do like a pinch wrap, like you would with quill wing. Do that once, do that twice. We'll pin it down. We should be able to do a couple wraps, hold it in place. It looks like I cut a couple fibers there, but that's all good. Just pull them out. I'm gonna pull that back. This is where we build the thread dam in the front to hold everything up. You basically want to build a conical shaped head. A good little bit of thread there. That'll hold everything in place. That's fairly important so the fish don't immediately destroy it and you lose your wing. Beauty. Okay. Got a little bit of cleanup to do in the back part there. Looks like I broke a number of strands, but got more than enough to go around there. This nice deer hair is more of a spinning deer hair than something I would be using for tying tom thumbs with. Your more durable, kind of ratty mule deer hair is what works the best for these, to be honest. This is a little bit on the poofy side, but I am excited to try and use this to do some muddler minnows and such. There's always one. Stay. There's always one that just wants to jump into the whip finish. There, he's back. Alright. Seriously, come on. Okay, cool. Alright, let's get rid of that thread, and then we can clean up those broken parts in the back, and then any fluff that's sticking around. Yeah, looks like we lost a few. Two up top here. And some down below. Trying to see whether those were tail fibers that went sideways or not. Yeah, they look okay. They'll be fine. Did I get one? Oh, that's good. That's tail fiber, okay. Thought I saw an extra top cap fiber in there, but I think we're good. There. I like to have the top just a little hair longer than the back cap, so it just kind of fits into that little saddle spot there. So when you're stripping it, it helps to keep the fly kind of more level and everything until they tear it up anyway. There you go, all of I'm seeing from your guys' angle, looks like I got one stray hair there. Let me clip that out before I put the varnish on it. There we go. Beauty. Okay. Well, there's a little fuzz in the back there. I should clear out too. One moment. Yep. You're happy with that. That'll be fine. There we go. We'll just spin this for a bit while that head dries, and I'll catch up on the chat while I'm doing that. Oh, dude, you got to throw in some, tied some flies with me? That's awesome, mate. Hey, if you get a sec, throw the, if you got time to take a picture of them, just toss a picture up on the community page for me. Wouldn't mind seeing them. And thanks for the subscribe there. Let's see, Happy Ventures. That's awesome. Yeah, perfectly happy to have people tie along with me. Hopefully I was going at a good pace for you. If I knew you were tying along, I would have maybe slowed down a bit for you. I've tied a number with helping David out. With his dry flies. Ah, the other David, anyway. You know, big eye, ugly fly. You know, the Hawaii David. Yeah, I'd really appreciate that if you got time to toss one up there in the community page. That'd be great. I'd love to see them. These are a great fly for beginners because, like I said, they help teach thread tension. It's a one material fly because you can tie the whole thing with just deer hair. You don't need to do the body. You can use just simple black thread, and they work. And they don't have to be perfect whatsoever for them to work well. In fact, they always work better when they're beat up. Yeah, that's number 10 though. Let's see what I got here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I can fit you right here. Beauty. That's number 10. Got a half a cork filled. There's the nice white one up top. I'll probably do a bunch more of those. I might switch to a different deer hair though. As much as I like this one, it's better for, it's got such nice white tips here. It's really good for like comparaduns and elk hair caddises, that kind of thing. It's got that nice white and black tips on it. So I'll probably save that piece more for those. I got lots of other quick and dirty hair I can use for these guys. I think that's it for me for tonight. I got my 10 done on there. And it's starting to get a bit late too. So, just want to thank everyone for hanging out. Thanks Yoshi, thanks David. If there's anyone else still traveler flies. I don't know, I don't think Glacier Shark's still around, but if you are, dude, always a pleasure. You guys have a great night, eh? Appreciate it.